Have you ever hit a wall where giving up stops feeling like a failure and actually starts looking like a smart survival strategy? That heavy, overwhelming feeling is not you being weak. It is simply your biology and your brain trying to save energy when a target looks way too big. If you are currently staring at a mountain in your own life and feeling completely stuck, hit the like button right now so we can tackle it together. Today, we are going to follow the story of a young boy named Leo who faced an impossible climb. More importantly, we are going to uncover exactly why you feel trapped by the expectations of others, and the one tiny physical step you can take today to break free just by shrinking your focus down to your next 3 seconds. To understand how Leo reached that mindset, we have to look at where he started. Leo lived in a very comfortable, quiet village surrounded by tall mountains. He had one massive goal. He wanted to climb the highest peak just to feel the wind and see the world from a new perspective. But the moment he shared this dream, something predictable happened. His neighbors told him it was impossible. They told him to be realistic. Have you ever noticed that the loudest criticism usually comes from people sitting comfortably in their safe zones? When someone tells you that your goal is impossible, they are rarely being malicious. Usually, they are just projecting their own fears onto you. Seeing you take a risk makes them uncomfortable about their own decision to play it safe. Leo carried this heavy social doubt, but he did not just wake up and sprint up the mountain. He started small. He practiced on tiny hills every single morning. He fell down. He scraped his knees. He felt like quitting. Scientists call this stress inoculation. By failing on a small scale, he was teaching his brain that slipping is not fatal. He was building up a tolerance to panic. If you are trying to change your life right now, and you feel like you are constantly failing at the small stuff, type the word climbing in the comments below. Let everyone see that you are not alone and that we are all taking damage in the practice phase together. Those early failures are not a sign to stop. They are just the mental training you need to get tough. When the actual day of the climb arrived, the village gathered to watch. At first, the path was flat and easy. Every new project has this honeymoon phase where your motivation is high and the sun is shining. But soon the rocks became steep. Leo slipped. His hands were bleeding. Every step felt heavier than the last. This is the exact moment your biology turns against you. When you are physically and mentally exhausted, your psychological defenses collapse. The doubt from his neighbors suddenly breached his mind and became his own internal voice. He stopped climbing and seriously considered turning back. His survival instinct was screaming at him to abort the mission, but this is where Leo did something brilliant. He did not look up at the massive mountain peak. Looking at the huge gap between where you are and where you want to be causes pure panic. Instead, he shrank his timeline. He stopped thinking about the summit, or even the next hour, and focused entirely on the next 3 seconds. He asked himself one simple question. Where does my right hand go right now? That is it. Just one careful step at a time. This is the power of granularity. When a problem feels completely impossible, you have to break it down until it becomes a simple, manageable task. You do not have to conquer the mountain today. You just have to conquer the next rock. By keeping his eyes locked on that next small rock, Leo slowly pulled himself over the final ledge. And when he stood up and looked down, he experienced a massive psychological shift. The village that felt so heavy with expectations and the neighbors who shouted their doubts now looked incredibly tiny. When you finally elevate yourself above your current problem, the things that used to terrify you suddenly lose all their power. The fear evaporates because the object of your fear is no longer standing over you. in the exact moment you are struggling and failing. The pain feels like a punishment. But looking down from the summit, Leo realized that the struggle was actually the preparation. Every time he fell on those small practice hills, he was not failing. He was simply paying the required tuition to build his mental toughness. We all have a mountain in our lives right now. Your mountain might be a career change you are terrified to make, or a difficult conversation you keep putting off. You feel stuck because you are looking at the massive summit and listening to the noise of the crowd telling you to play it safe. The truth is, you do not need to figure out the entire journey today. You just need to narrow your focus down to the next small action. Send that one single email. Read just one page. Make that one phone call. Start with the small practice hills, and when you hit a wall, stop looking at the giant peak. Just find your next handhold and take one careful step. Right now, someone you care about is silently fighting a battle against their own massive mountain, and they might be on the verge of turning back. Do something incredibly kind for them today by sharing this video to give them the mental toolkit they need to keep climbing. Hit the subscribe button to keep building your own resilience with us every week. Keep moving forward, and remember that your giant problems are just waiting for you to climb high enough to see how tiny they really are.